And there we go. You got a picture of my ear over there. We're ready to go. Here we go. We're going. Well, where are we going? Well, we're not going anywhere this weekend. We'll enjoy a little bit of warmer weather this weekend, but we're not going racing this weekend. That's right. We're not going racing this weekend. Gives us another weekend to prepare, does it not? That's a good thing. So there was a little confusion that went on over there. With the location, it's definitely at EPCAL. That's the executive park over in Calverton. Definitely on the runway. It's going to be back on the runway that was used last year. That's the 7,000-foot runway, not the 10,000-foot runway. It's all good, really. I mean, it's a shame that we're going to lose a weekend of racing. Okay, but you know what? It's a much longer season this year too. So April will have a couple of days of racing. We're going to go and work through the kinks. I keep saying we. It's because Pete just said, "Hey, you're now an employee of," so that's a good thing. So it's giving me a little bit more chance to prepare too. So that all that stuff is definitely a plus. But so what's going on? Let's go talk about that. First, I want to get the comments up over here, and I didn't move this thing forward closer. There we go. Comments were good. We're up on Facebook. That's good. Got that. There we go. That's right. I got to show you that one. I got to get my ear out of the picture here. All right. Got to get it. Definitely, definitely got to do that thing. Ah, the idea of another week to prepare is not the worst thing. So what happened here? What happened? Why are we going from April 2nd to April 9th? You want to know something? There's an article up there. It explains the whole thing, whatever. But there was some little gory details. And this is where, this is where it's so helpful to have teams of people doing different things. I'm not putting the blame on anybody, any place. This is something that I don't think anybody ever, really considered, as it went over there. But there's a little bit of ownership, who's got, who doesn't, with the runway, and then the runway itself, and then the roadway that leads up to the runway, and that kind of thing. Because remember, the park is hundreds of acres. The ownership of the park broken apart, a little bit. So different people own different sections, the rest of it. And once you start getting involved with insurance and the ability to use property and stuff like that, and some of these cars are not legal, street legal cars. They're racing legal cars, NHRA racing legal cars, and that's street legal cars, and whatever, whatever. So anyhow, all this stuff goes. So here's what's going on. It's back. So April 9th, 10:30 in the morning is going to be the ribbon cutting. Supervisor Yvette Aguirre will be there will be there. She's going to be front and center. She's not going to be there. I say that like she's got to attend. She is like full blown. She loves this thing. I've had a couple of private conversations with her. She just absolutely, positively, super excited. You think I get excited about this stuff as an outsider? Oh my gosh, is she loving it? And I'm going to play the interview she did with Jay Oliver. I'll get all that stuff set up for next week. I'll make a big push with those things and get that stuff set up. I should probably find probably I'll do that, but I'll wind up showing you my ear again. See if I can pull this thing a little bit closer. Getting everything a little bit more together over here with our home studio. That's right. This is coming to you live from my home. Nothing fancy than my home. Yeah, I still working on that wall back there. I still got to do something with it. Yeah, a few of you figured out what I've used. So sad, right? Here you are talking about drag racing, guys building and women building custom cars and doing all this fancy paperwork and the audio visual side of it. And what do I have on my back wall over there? I don't even paint the wall. Yikes! I don't even paint the stupid wall. Well, one day I'll paint the wall. Probably not. I get some wall covering. Actually, I'll probably get the wall covering, the foam stuff. This way it looks good. I found some colored stuff. Totally off topic over here. Whatever. But I found some colored foam, sound absorbing material, and I think I might use that. But you'll understand, those of you who do these kinds of things, that I really need the sound absorbing to be behind the camera or behind the microphone for this thing. Or maybe get a clip on and do that, or maybe get the big microphone on the side over here. This way I can start talking. Make sure I got no logo showing up over here. This way it looks like I get the big microphone. That's right. I can talk in real announcer voice live. I gotta play this thing, man. Yeah. So April 9th. I don't know where will we go. So the preparation side of it. So anyways, I get some illegal stuff. Da, 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 da. So what's you're going to see April 9th is tech. The tech opens up for the cars, 8 o'clock in the morning. You're free to come if you so wish. But 8 o'clock in the morning, the tech is there. And look, you go as a spectator, you get a chance to walk around, take some photos, meet a couple of people, interview a couple of people, whatever you'd like to do. I remember I'm still reaching out to the media. Do that. 10:30, ribbon cutting. Ribbon cutting. That's right, by the supervisor. And I mean this in all sincerity. That woman is something else. She's super excited about this, as she should be. Riverhead has been doing well, just really, truly, doing well. And it's such a diversified area. Income wide, it's diversified. Yes, it's not really what I meant though, but geographically speaking, like I live in the town of Brookhaven. One of the things that unique about the town of Brookhaven is we have a southern coast. We've got the bay on one side, actually the ocean, if you include pieces of Fire Island, and as you should. You got the sound up on the other side. We've got. I'm going to use the word mountains. If you're from any place, you're going to laugh at me with the words mountains. Our highest mountain happens to be over in Huntington. It's 800 feet of elevation. That's right. 800 pure feet of walking up. Elevation I use when I go and do training, stuff like that, is actually a 10-story building. I do the hospital, just in case I get hurt. I'm close. Say, hey, where are you? I'm at level 7 of the health science building. Please come get me. Elevation. That's the elevation. But anyhow, so we got elevation. You got wooded area. You got some marsh area. I got everything. Riverhead, same kind of thing. Same kind of thing. You got the downtown areas, right? Downtown Riverhead. They just got a $10 million grant. Fantastic stuff. They're redoing the whole thing. Amazing what they're doing. And again, she even spoke about it. She's on the show and it was like, boom. Jay's like, okay, so tell me what's going on. She talked about the car racing. She talked about, which is a big part of Riverhead, besides the drag racing. I keep neglecting to mention Riverhead Raceway. So, I mean, that's a big part of what's going on from an entertainment standpoint. Splish Splash is there. Big thing, right? It's another water park that's in the process of. So you got that. You got a lot of family entertainment. The downtown area of Riverhead, they're redoing or actually removed some of the buildings that are there, opening up that waterfront area so it's much, much more easily accessible from a walking standpoint. You get that old theater that's remaining. Again, it gets opened up a little bit more. I'm hoping they actually remove some of the parking lot area there. And I know that's a touchy subject, but remove some of the parking lot area there, make it a little bit more park-like for people. I don't know, maybe barbecue pits or stuff like that, at tables, that kind of thing. This way, it is much more open. You got to figure out a place to do the parking though. I don't know where, but do that. So anyhow, so you have that. So it's much more open. That's good. Some of the older buildings that shouldn't be, there being removed. It shouldn't be there and being removed. Oh gosh, I really got to take this guy. I would love to have him on the phone. Hey, I'll be right there. Hey, Dennis, I'm taping my podcast. Can I give you a call? Or do you want to do this on air? Bye. It's my man Dennis Catoni. I have an idea. I got a crazy idea, man. Just anyhow. So she's got, we've got that downtown area again, make it a little bit more park-like and doing that. But the whole area, so when you get the park-like, and then you got the aquarium, you got the catering hall, that's down in that area too. Hey, Mike. Yeah, no, I got to tell you about that. I'll tell you about if that comes to be. That'd like just be unbelievable. But since it's downtown here, I keep losing my train of thought here. Maybe I should have notes. The aquarium, the downtown area, the aquarium, there's the catering hall and hotel Got a couple of marinas all over the place. It's good. Then you've got the wineries. Let's go further out. You got the wineries, the golf courses, the beaches, all these things. Pumpkin, especially if you're from around here, man. The pumpkin picking. You can't forget the pumpkin picking. Camping. Yep, there's all kinds of things. So it's quite diverse, quite a diversified area, that she has, and it's been working. It's definitely been working. So good for her. She should be excited about it. Should get excited about everything. And then, with the idea of summer coming around, and then look, when the families go out there for the drag racing, whether it's, Riverhead Raceway, you're going out to the parks, for the day. Those restaurants are getting a lot of business. It's good. It's definitely good. So she's super excited about the whole thing. So anyhow, so whatever the challenge is, we move on to the night. And I know Pete, who is the track operator over here, moving everything over from one place to another took a little bit more time than he needed. So that's why the thing to do it right, and that was most important. To do it right instead of pushing to get everything done. Before Saturday morning, take the week. To do that because it's actually a lot. Remember, you got an eighth of a mile track, and there's concrete barriers on all sides, and all the stuff is just about done. The concrete barriers on both sides, the spectator stands, and all the other little stuff that goes along with it. So it's done. The good part. Here's the good part of the whole thing. The good part of the whole thing is the fact that everything that was learned last year can now be implemented this year. And maybe this is the advancing through obstacles, right? And maybe this is just the perfect story from a tomato talk standpoint. Sometimes I wonder if I really stay true to form on this one. But in this case, the answer is yes. It's a top of mind. Okay, it's always top of my mind. But advancing through these obstacles. So how do you get through these obstacles? Just going to turn over and not do it? No way. Absolutely not. You've been on that Long Island Needs a Drag Strip group page? You know how many tens of thousands of people in there? A lot. Tens of thousands of people are on that thing. Let me tell you, there's big time interest. I was looking some of the history of racing over here, which kind of ties in with that phone call. And we've had some major names here on the island in racing of all different sorts, whether it be Formula One, Mario Andretti, Paul Newman, and so many others racing out at Bridgehampton. That was a Formula One track. National Speedway, that was the one that was in Mauritius, right? Don Garlits, Don Prudhomme, they were the first big-time racers out there on that track. Big stuff. Many of the folks that are looking to race their cars over here, they cut their teeth over there. They grew up over there. Some of them grew up behind the fence and, as kids looking in. Some of them were racing their cars over there. Wild age group difference. Freeport Speedway, Islip Speedway. Islip Speedway was the first track to implement figure eight racing and I think demolition derby. The first track to do that. Amazing history. I found the website over here about that. I wonder if I could find that again. I should. I've got so many things opening. I was running around with so many different things I wanted to do today to go with that. I could probably find it again. I'm going to show you my ear, which I prefer not to do, but we can go over to this. I don't want to play me on there. There we go. That's this. Let me I'll do the share on that one. But I went over to this website to go look some of this stuff up because I'm actually looking for a reason to reach out to Big Daddy Don Garlits. That was the conversation with Dennis. Said, Dennis, if you're watching this, well, you got my email already on that. All right, so let's flip over here. But before we go there was a lot of things that were learned. So the history on Long Island is just amazing with the car racing. And the last thing I want to mention about the history over there, the Vanderbilt Cup races. Vanderbilt, right? Vanderbilt Motor Parkway. You've been on it. It still exists. It exists as a road. But the reason why it was called a parkway is that it was a parkway. Just like the Northern State is a parkway, the Southern State is a parkway. That was one of the roads out there. Why they call it a parkway? Because, well, not because you park on it, right? Why do I park in a driveway and drive on a parkway? Bump, bump, bump. Sometimes humor is not appropriate because they connected the parks It connected the parks. That's why it's called a parkway and stuff like that. In that case, I think it was Lake Ronkonkoma is where it eventually, wound up. But it brought people out from the city. And what they did, so the Vanderbilt, forget what his first name was, but those Vanderbilts, with all the money in the world, they really had all the money in the world. They were, he built a racetrack. That was the first track on the island, the first track in America. First track in America. Unbelievable. You want to see that? There's videos you can go watch on that one. It's the Vanderbilt Cup Series or something like that as a website. So it's incredible. Incredible. Boy, if I actually outlined what I was going to talk about, this thing would be totally different. All right, let's go with share screen. Where I am at 16 minutes already. I haven't said a darn thing. Where are we going? Where are we going? I think we're going there. There, share. All right, so let me go back to StreamYard. You got this. That's my page. It doesn't make a difference. Let's make it so. Oh, that. Nope. That just removes me. Okay, still working through these things. And all right, let's go. I'm going to click on that. And not on that one. That one. I got too many things open here. Are you ready? You got to listen to this. So this is audio from National Speedway back in the 60s. There you go. What I need to do is I need a nickname. Let's get rid of that, and then I can bring that. Here's the other thing I went. Oh no, that was not really it. That was National Speedway, by the way. It's now a retirement village. So we can get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Bing. Okay, so I don't know. I'm not going to go through the whole history of that whole thing. Let's go back here, StreamYard. Let's get rid of that. We just bring me back. That's great. That's great. So anyhow, so on that one page in there was the history of all these tracks in New York, overall in New York. But it was one after another. I didn't know that there was so many tracks. There's so many tracks here on the island. So it's kind of fascinating, the history over there. That's why it really needs to come back. In this case, history does have to come back, over here. So when the supervisor was talking about it, she was talking about the excitement and some of the economic impact of the whole thing. But it's the culture. It's also the culture of Long Island. We were the first to do all of these things. They were first to do with the car racing and the demolition derby. And there was tracks over here that were dirt, which would make sense. Tracks asphalt, which would make sense. Tracks with wood, which didn't know. Things like that, that are here. And you talk about the whole aspect. And this was another conversation I had today with somebody else. Again, I'd love to share all these things with you. Not going to share the specifics, of some of these things because whatever, some of it's going to be long-term comment, and I don't want to get too far off on the whole thing. But the word of today, what does all this stuff mean? What does all this stuff do? Whether it be the racing, whether it be the economic impact, whether it be tourism, whether it be anything like that. What does all this stuff have in common? Entrepreneurs. Yeah, entrepreneurship, thinking outside the box. God, I hate that term, but it's thinking for oneself. And how do you do that? It's confidence in yourself, confidence in the ability to do, confidence in the ability to screw up. Boy, that's the greatest confidence of them all. Really, truly is. Hey, Mike, and you don't have to answer this question, but I'm sure, Mike, the first time you picked up that camera, you were fantastic. You were like the ultimate photographer. Oh, is there a learning curve? First time I turned on this camera, be in front of it or behind it, whatever. It's like, whoa, I have so much to learn, so much to do. Even this whole thing in here. I mean, I'm at 2 years. 2 years. Jeez. I've been doing this now for 2 years from home. That's right, live from the home studio of. For 2 years doing it from home. Do you think I learned a lot by being good? Or do you think I've learned a lot by screwing up? It's by, yeah, and it definitely is a curve there. It's by screwing up. All right, curve, I'll use that. By experiencing the learning curve as you go through different things. That's what it's all about. It really is. But how do you have the confidence to do that? You got to screw up. And if you're not screwing up fast enough, screw up even more. Screw up even more, because that's where the learning curve comes in. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of fancy quotes on that one too. So, although it's frustrating, and I am sure the emotions behind many of the people that were all set to go on Saturday were kind of high when this thing went to be. It's frustrating, at the least. It's frustrating. Then it's a lot of work. moving those concrete barriers is not an easy task. It's not an easy task. You get the adrenaline going, all those folks working on their cars, getting all set to go. Finally, it's warming up. It could be in the 60s, sunny. I think the forecast was a sunny day, at least in the 60s or so, something like that for Saturday. Would have been perfect. Just actually, 80 degrees might have been more perfect, but still would have been perfect. Photos would have been great. Everybody would have been out there having a good time, on that warming trend, all good. But it's not really it. We learn from messing up, and embracing that learning curve. There was somebody else that put something up about being successful. Was one of my sales coach friends, on that. And it was like, sometimes being successful means you've stayed in the game. Doesn't mean you were the smartest person. Doesn't mean you were the most educated. It means you were the most dedicated to the whole thing. And how do you be dedicated? You got to really be doing what it is that you really love to do. What really, really drives you, really internally drives you, not what somebody else says. Say, oh yeah, it's nice that you're doing that, or some other comment. Look, we all do things that are nice to do, and maybe we do feel good at the moment from doing that thing, and you should. You definitely should. I don't want to downplay that aspect of it. But sometimes we do things that are just nice, just altruistic, nice. But it's not really at the core of what we want to do. Maybe we're good at a few things that we just kind of naturally are good at. And people see that, oh, you're so good, it's nice and stuff like that. But if it's not something you really, truly want to do, those speed bumps that come along, those obstacles that come along, they're gonna screw you up, and you're gonna say, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. That's where the why has to be there. But the confidence comes in because you need to be confident in knowing what it is you want, you personally want. Your confidence has to carry you through that, as Mike nicely put it, the curve, that learning curve. And sometimes that learning curve is steep. But if that learning curve is steep and you work your way through it, you're going to learn a lot more. You're going to learn why that something is important and have it related to something else. This is light, dark kind of thing you got over there. Why is there darkness in the world? You appreciate the light more. If everybody's good, this was something that came up in one of the NASCAR interviews, right? You have the bad guys and you have the good guys. Who thought that this would be that showy, right? I always thought wrestling was that, right? You had the villains and then you had the good guys in wrestling. Yeah, that's a show. Remember, it's a show. It's entertainment. It's almost like a real life play. As that goes along, you got to be physically fit to be one of those players. And it's not exactly easy, and it's dangerous too. I mean, there's all kinds of stories in there. But they're all acting. They're all their personas are acting. Yeah, this thing had to do with breaking character and stuff like that. So, but their personas have acting, and good and bad. So that's why sometimes you need bad to make the good people look good, and the bad people. That's entertainment. You want to transfer that over to real life? Well, you know what? You go back to your religious institution, you can get that kind of a comment in there. It's the same thing. Why did XYZ have a problem? Look, there's a lot of a lot of ethnicities that will have a problem. Why is that? If you have your higher authority, that whole thing, there's a learning thing that goes through it, and it's a matter of working through that and putting more light and putting more good stuff, to wash out the dark. But that confidence has to be there in order to do that. Your dedication has to be there to do it on a very one-on-one level with things that you do. Sure, you've taken on projects that, like, all of a sudden sits on the sideline. Your to-do list sits on the sideline. Those projects, that book you were going to read, where did I put it? Was it really that important to read? But that other book, that was a little bit drier, but it was something you were interested in. You know exactly what that is, right? You keep it on the side of your bed. You got it on your night table. You got it on your desk. You got it where you are readily accessible, right? No matter what it is. So now that becomes really important. And you might get people out there that are telling you, oh, why do you want to do that? You get people that go into some professions that are not high paying professions, or they're not very visible professions, or they're just not following the family line kind of careers. It's like, you're going to do that? How are you going to do that? Why are you going to do that? You can't do that. And sometimes we hear that from family members. Sometimes you hear from friends. Sometimes you hear from other people. Oh my gosh, you're crazy for doing that. Could be exercise. Could be eating. Oh, I'm going to go vegetarian. I'm going to go vegan. You mentioned this. There was one woman that did that. Italian family. She said, that's it. And she had reasons for doing it. Yeah. She's like, I'm cutting out gluten. Imagine this with Italian family, right? I'm cutting out gluten and dairy. Gluten and dairy. Pastas, regular pastas. There's always substitutes, but the pastas, their family didn't have anything. So all those pastas, there's gluten in all those pastas. All those cream sauces, the amount of dairy that's in that, let alone everything else that went along with it. You think she got some comments that were non-supportive? Yeah, I tend to. Look, I got some non-supportive comments, like when I was training to run the marathon, right? It was years ago. I was training to run the marathon. And this is actually when I was in Queens. I would tell people, yeah, I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I run 2, 3, maybe 5 miles, each day. Mostly it was, 3 miles a day. And I was like, yeah, I go out in the rain. I go out even when it's snowing or it's cold. And like, you're nuts. I once ran home. I was working down in lower Manhattan. I was like, I'm going to run home from here, like in traffic. I was like, well, I'm on the sidewalks and the rest of that stuff. I didn't realize some of the areas they were nuts. Going over the bridge when running was, but that was actually nuts. And I'm like, oh, it's crazy. If I wasn't really dedicated to it, I wouldn't have the confidence in saying that I wanted to do this thing. It just wouldn't have happened. So it translates into absolutely everything. I get. Oh, yeah. I'm going to leave you with this visual, Mike. This is a bad visual here, my friend. All right, but here it is. So remember, now this is back in the '80s. I'm working on Lower Manhattan. Conservative place, Lower Manhattan, 1980s, and I'm running home from there to Queens in traffic. Right? In traffic. So what do I want to do? I want to be seen. I don't want to get run over. I want to be seen. I'm not that stupid, right? I'm wearing the most colorful crap in the world. There's tight pants, all kinds of bright orange colors, flowers, the same thing on the top and the rest of that stuff. I get in the elevator. One of the partners is in there with me because I'm, what? Whatever happened to our dress code? And I proudly said, I'm going to run on the streets and I prefer not to get hit. So I'm wearing these clothes. Good for you. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, but have the confidence to do it. Hey, some things don't go as planned. April 9th is the date. That's where it is. Last thing here, and then definitely going to go. Pete Scalzo is going to be on Jay Oliver's show tomorrow morning. That's at 8:30 for anybody over here. You're right, Mike. Absolute dedication. And let's talk about you with the photos. Pete Scalzo, track operator, is going to be on Jay Oliver's show tomorrow morning. Kind of helping to support that one. It's at 8:30. LI News Radio. You can listen live in the morning. I think they replay it at night. Definitely going to get the SoundCloud on the whole thing, and then we'll play all of this stuff so you can hear from next week. You'll hear from the supervisor, that interview. You're going to hear Pete Scalzo, that interview. Maybe we'll have a couple of folks on, maybe not. Who knows? We'll go with the whole thing, and that's going to be where it's at. April 9th, my friends. We're going to go big on that one. We're going to go big on that one. Make that whole thing work. So thanks. I was glad we did this here today. It was totally off the cuff. All right, my friends. Remember, do what you do best. Drive carefully. Drive the speed limit. Race on a track, not on a street. We got so many things to say, but remember, speak well, speak often, live inspired.